Hello, hello, good morning. As you may notice, the lights are dimming and turning down. Ooh, I get a spotlight. All right, our gathering hymn today is going to be a classic, 1064 in your blue book, Blue Boat Home. Teal, sorry. If you can't, we can turn them back on. But yes, I had assumed there was enough light to read. If there is not, we can turn them back on. All right, then turn some dim lights back on. Yeah.
Though below thee I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning o'er the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, breathe the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon beyond the fathoms. Never harbor a port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home. Wide universe. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home.
Well done, well done. Hello and good morning again. Thank you for being here now at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Evansville. Thank you to all of our people here and online. I am Stephen. I will be your service leader today. And we have Nancy in the back, our tech extraordinaire. Molly at home, yes, Molly at home. And the incomparable, often imitated, never duplicated Mark Wilson on our music today. All right, let's see. Do we have any visitors today? No visitors? Okay. What about any church announcements? Do we have a church announcement?
I mentioned a couple weeks ago that our representatives to Cage want to step down. So if anyone wishes to step up and be our representative to Cage, please let us know. Also, come January, we're going to have to start thinking about who is going to be on the nominating committee for next year's board members.
I mentioned last week, but I did not have the sign-up sheet out yet. We now have the sign-up sheet out for our next Friends Night Out. It will be on January the 16th. Speaking of our often imitated, never duplicated Mark Wilson, he will be playing at the Boca Lounge that night, so we're going to go at 7 o'clock rather than 6 o'clock and get something to eat and hang out for the music. So sign-up sheet is on the visitors table now, and I will need to know by the Wednesday before if you're coming or not. Thank you.
No other announcements? All right, well, now it's our favorite portion of the morning. Stand up, walk around, greet each other. When you hear the chime, return to your seat. And now it is time to light our chalice. We have a very special volunteer today. I didn't even ask her, she just offered it up. Today, our words for our chalice lighting come from our hymnal, 447. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has a cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. That is Albert Schweitzer. Thank you. All right, and now time for our offertory. I will need 2 volunteers for that. And today we get a special treat as David is going to offer up some soothing sounds of an ancient fiddle. I was talking to David before we got started about that fiddle, and I honestly don't know if that fiddle has ever been played with electricity. That was my great-grandfather's fiddle. My dad knows that, or my dad knew that he had seen and heard his grandfather play it, but he couldn't remember when or how long it had been. And my great-grandfather died when my dad was very young. My dad never learned to play it. I obviously don't know how to play it, so thank you, David. That was awesome. It's legitimately, for sure, it's been close to 100 years since anyone in my family has heard that make any kind of sound. So that's awesome. Thank you very much. All right, now it is time for the story for all ages. Do you have it? I don't have it. You have. Okay. So if we have any children that would like to come up and get cozy with a nice book, feel free. If not, you can stay in your seats.
This story is called A Cozy Good Night, and the words are by Linda Ashman and pictures by Chuck Grinick. In a house on a hill that's tall and steep, there's a boy named William who's ready to sleep.
Closer.
Close.
Closer and louder.
Closer. Can you hear me now? Okay. He drinks his cocoa, climbs in bed. He fluffs the pillow beneath his head, then burrows down for a nice long nap, but wakes to the sound of a tap, tap, tap. Excuse me, but I've lost my way. I'm cold and tired. May I please stay? Will says, yes, I'll scooch a bit. There's room for 2. I'm sure we'll fit. The two climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, "Good night, good night." It's quiet, just the clock's tick-tock. But wait, what's that? A knock, knock, knock. Oh, what a lovely, cozy place. Could you spare a smidge of space? Will says, yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for three, I'm sure we'll fit. The three climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, good night, good night. It's peaceful in the sleepy room until that is the boom, boom, boom. My toes are numb, my tail is too. Okay if I come in with you? Will says, yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for four, I'm sure we'll fit. The four climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, good night, good night. Ping, ping, ping. Could that be rain? No, pebbles on the window pane. May I come in? I need some rest. I promise I'm the perfect guest. Will says, yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for five, I'm sure we'll fit. The five climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, good night, good night. The sound of snoring, soft and low, then crunch, some footsteps in the snow. A note is slipped beneath the door that says, do you have room for just one more? I'd rather not. Too squished, no space. There's got to be some other place. We don't have room, too hard to fit. No way, we can't consider it. Will says, if it's someone small, it might not be so hard at all. He tugs the door to see who's there. Uh-oh, oh my, what now? A bear. I saw your light on through the trees. I'm lonely, may I join you, please? Bear shivers in the falling snow. I see, no room, that's fine, I'll go. It's awfully cold, the snow, the ice. He'd keep us warm, he seemed quite nice. They all say, wait, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for six, somehow we'll fit. The six climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, good night, good night. Sweet dreams, my friend, says Will, sleep tight. I'll see you in the warm spring light.
Our opening words for today. You're a god, you're a hero. You've survived all you've been through. You're confident and lethal. Might I suggest you don't mess with my sis, because she comfortable. Comfortable in my skin, cozy with who I am. Comfortable in my skin, cozy, cozy. Comfortable in my skin, cozy with who I am. I love myself, cozy. That is from American royalty Beyonce Knowles. And now, the sharing of joys and sorrows. If you have a joy or sorrow to share, come up, speak into the mic. If it's something you don't want getting out, stay at your seat. It can stay with us. All right, we will take a brief moment of silence and meditation, and after that, we will be singing number 123, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Well, once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for being cozy today. It does seem like a silly little concept, but I had the thought to speak on this topic because the word cozy is, honestly, it's a fun, silly little word, but it's also a different level of comfort that we often take for granted. From my recent experiences, when you are dealing with people who are near end of life or constant hospital visits and things like that, almost always every person that will come in the room, are you comfortable? How do you feel? And someone who is in a hospital bed, having doctors and nurses check on them constantly, will say, yeah, I'm comfortable, I'm fine. So comfortable itself, we get asked all the time. You're probably comfortable right now, and you can be comfortable at home, but we're also comfortable as we're waiting at the license branch or at an airport or even in a hospital bed. We're comfortable. You are never cozy in those places, though. You can be comfortable and just sit and be aware of where you are, but cozy's special. Cozy's that kind of feeling that you really only get when you are at home or at someone else's home where you know you are welcome to just be. It can happen often in a public setting where everything feels just right, like at Ashley's birthday party a couple weeks ago. It was the most cozy public environment I've ever been in, and like we didn't want to leave, but we were old and we were tired, so we had to leave early. We didn't even have Xavier that night. We were like, oh my God, is it 10 o'clock? That coziness feeling that you get at your own home when you've got the temperature right, when you've got the clutter put away, when dinner's done, dishes are clean, when the bills are paid and there's money left over, when you have nothing to do except be at home and do what you want to do, that's special. That's a level of comfort that I feel like we work towards, but we are fine falling short of. We can find ourselves in a just tense day, all day. School's been tense, your teacher's on your nerves, your boss is on your nerves, your coworkers talking nonsense. You told somebody something was going to happen, they said it wouldn't, and then it did, and now you got to fix the problem. There's a million reasons why our day gets disrupted, and when we get home, we're nowhere near our disruptions, but we can still feel those disruptions. That can put us in such a negative, low feeling or vibe that once we just get comfortable finally for the day, we're like, oh, fine, finally. But there's still that little bit of acknowledgement, like, yeah, I'm comfortable now. I'm not thinking about all that. You go just that one more step, and you really release yourself from your stress, from your tensions, from whatever could be, you're comfortable, cozy. I put a lot of weight in it because there's a big age difference in my family on my dad's side. And my dad was 40 when I was adopted, and his sister was 20 years older than him. So essentially my aunt and uncle are my granny and pawpaw. And then he was raised by their grandparents for a bit. So really from my grandparents' home, like I remember when they got a actual heating system and AC unit in their home. There wasn't one until I was, I think, 15. They just refused. They were open the windows if you're hot. And if you're so hot inside, go outside, do some work, and come back in. It'll be better kind of place. But then they got too old for it themselves. And when the window unit went in, we really thought, man, times are changing. And then they had a whole system installed, and we couldn't believe it. There was no more logs burning in the basement and just filling the house with heat and smoke. But we were still able to relax and get cozy. And I can remember my dad just being amazed at the level of comfort and it being wintertime and being comfortable and not sweating because Pawpaw didn't throw an entire tree into the fire in the basement. He didn't like the stairs, which is crazy because he built the stairs. And so he would just overload it and it'll burn, we'll figure it out. So I've got that connection with an older generation that didn't have these luxuries that we get to live with right now. Like we can just decide to change our inside environment. And of course we can. Like it sounds dumb to even say it out loud. But there is a not so distant time when people who are alive didn't have that option. And in a time of reflection that we often get into in the winter, this is just where my heart and head went. It was that we are so comfortable all the time that we get to level up in ways that other generations didn't necessarily have. That's not to say that people before us weren't cozy. Of course there were. But we can do this at any moment, at any time. But we also have to make sure that we are grounded in ourselves as well. Because there is few things more annoying as being physically cozy, but getting agitated by somebody or something. And if that sounds weird, just keep your pajamas on, go home, and look at Facebook for 25 minutes and tell me you don't get agitated while you are being cozy. Because it'll happen. If we don't have just a little bit of a guard up, we'll let other people and other things impact us and remove that peace that we can have within ourselves. I find that being able to understand that our mental and physical comfort are so closely related. And we need to know that what our triggers are, basically, and make sure that we can manage ourselves, better manage our own comfort and our own coziness, and try to pass that along to anyone we can, even in a casual setting. At home, it's a lot easier with the people you know, but try to take the mentality of cozy with you just one day this week when you leave your house. I'm not saying leave the house in your pajamas. Imagine you're in your pajamas. Imagine you're in your comfy shoes. Imagine you've got that about you just one day this week, and see if your interactions with people make any difference. See if it adjusts your behavior in any way. Because for me, it does. if I'm super comfortable before I'm leaving and I want to go to where I'm going to, that's a big one. I can keep that coziness going. But if I'm cozy and Holly's like, hey, we got to go do this thing, and I don't want to do it, I'm ruined the rest of the day. It's over. My son is like that too, but he would never admit it. So I have a little confession about all this. I left all of my notes at home. So I've been riffing this entire time. And I'm sure it has shown at some point. But I'm just at a point to where if I keep going, I'm going to lose you. I'm going to annoy you. So I have a great joy of seeing all of you out here and going in on this little experiment and taking the time to push yourself just a touch out of the usual range. And I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of just taking a minute to be comfortable as we can be. So with that, instead of rambling and getting lost in the weeds, we can move on to a congregational response. And we've got the time, so if you've got something to say, whoa, buddy, you're not going to hear me stop you. I might even go back and forth with you. But please do. If you have something to share, any questions, comments, concerns, please come to the microphone and let us hear from you.
I didn't say a joy today because you all know that every day that I have with my pets is joy. But it's not really cozy without a dog on your lap either. So, sorry, kind of missed it cozy, completely cozy. The other thing is that I have never once in my life considered wearing pajamas to Walmart. However, today I have an excuse to wear my jammies to Walmart, and I just might do it. I might not too, but I might.
On our way getting ready this morning, I looked at our dog, and he was just on the floor, just in a mashed potato pile of dog. And I was like, man, if he could talk, he could deliver this message way better than I could. Like, there is nothing cozier than a dog who has been inconvenienced for 10 minutes, and then they finally get to lay down where they want to lay down. And our dog, I'm so jealous because he can just turn it off immediately. He can go round and laps in the house and then snore in a matter of 3 seconds. And he is the master of cozy. Yeah, that is peak cozy. Anybody else? Anything? Somebody, please.
So my wife, Jamie, as you know, is a librarian, and she taught me a word a couple years ago called, I'm not going to pronounce it, huga. And the Dutch have the word cozy down to an art form. They're really good at it. And I just kind of Googled it. It's a common phonetic spelling for the Danish-Norwegian concept of huga, meaning a quality of coziness, contentment, and comfortable. Some word that starts with a C, conviviality, that comes from enjoying life's simple pleasures, often with loved ones in a warm, intimate setting, like a candlelit room with blankets, good food, and relaxed conversation. It's about creating a feeling of well-being, calm, and connection, making the most of quiet, happy moments, especially during darker, colder months. Or I would say darker, colder, what life we're going through right now in a lot of ways. Okay, it's been a crappy year in a lot of ways this past year. And what's my wish for New Year? I just don't want another 2025. That's my wish for 2026. I wish I kept this. You guys can Google it. Go to images. There's a poster you can get. What is Huga? What do you do for it? There's books. There's comfortable clothes, of course. There's just so many different things you can do to be cozy. And I think after all we've been through, I think we deserve it, okay? I think we all deserve to be cozy, to be happy. I was talking to someone that was dealing with depression, and all I said is, I just want you to be happy, man. I wish I had all the right words. I just want you to be happy. And I think that's kind of part of what the UU is about, friendship, and I just want you to be happy. So be cozy, be happy. Let's kick 2025 in the ass and look forward to next year and try to make 2026 so much better than 2025. That's all.
Well, I think we should make this an annual thing, like the Sunday after Christmas. This is great. I love dressing like that. I don't know if this is true for others, but to me, cozy is more of a wintertime thing than a summer thing. Because like now we keep our house about 68 in the winter, which is fine. But like we're watching TV, I'll have a blanket, I'll have my sweats, and maybe a cup of tea. And the summer just, I can be comfortable, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel cozy. I don't know if that's true for anybody else, but so that's one reason I think I almost like winter a little more than summer.
So we planned on coming today, and about 10 minutes before we were supposed to go, Joe was like, "You've got to get out of your pajamas and get to church." And so I found the most comfortable outfit I could and the most cozy thing, and I walked in, and it was just like, this is why we feel so connected to this church, because it was like y'all all thought the same way as I did today. We just needed this comfy time. So thank you all for being a place where I feel so connected and part of a community. Yeah, thank you all.
I told this to several people, but I'm so hot-natured I couldn't do flannel today. I was concerned I would self-combust here in the middle of the service, and I didn't want anybody to have to clean it up. But the other observation was, if Stephen was riffing, he did an excellent job. I'm not sure I would have told anybody, because I never would have known. I thought it was, well prepared, so kudos to you.
Thank you.
Because I need to get back there. When I walk away is when things happen. A couple of years ago, actually probably more like 10 or 12 now, the library decided that the managers and administration should have new headshots to go on the website, and our instructions were to dress as your authentic self. And I had to really think about it, because I've lived under dress codes since I started kindergarten, and girls weren't allowed to wear pants except in the dead of winter. And then we had to take them off at school. And so it was really a challenge, and I think it ties into the bit you said about cozy being yourself, too. And I spent probably a whole weekend trying to figure out what I was going to wear, and I ended up in my most comfortable pants that were still within dress code, socks I had knit myself, even though they looked a little lumpy, and a sweater I had gotten that isn't a duplicate, but does sort of call to mind the Star Trek Next Generation uniform, and decided that was me. But it was a real interesting challenge, and I think some of us met it today.
So this is really how I feel comfortable, okay? I love Hawaiian shirts. Anyway, Aaron found something several years ago. You know, probably one of the most comfortable, cozy times for both of us is when you first wake up, you know, and you're still under the blankets, especially in the winter, and it's so comfortable. But she found a word for it. It's called herkle-durkling. And that means, you know, like you wake up, but you don't get out of bed. You hang out. And so she's better at it than I am. I just can't stay there very long. But she and one of our dogs, they herkle-durkle for like a half an hour and stay nice and comfy. So, yeah.
Well, I agree that cozy probably is more closely related to winter than other times. And like Stephen said, we have these comforts now that sometimes we don't even notice a need for cozy. And I kind of relate that to a need for just being in the moment, just taking time to reflect on who you are and think about nothing in particular, just see what comes to you. And I think winter does that for you to some extent. But because of the comforts we have now, I think our bodies are tuned in to slow down in the winter and reflect and be in the moment. And that causes creativity and that causes balance in your life. But because of our comforts, and you know, Mother Nature, she can't decide whether it's winter or not. 71 today and 27 tomorrow. I mean, who knows how to handle that? But we don't slow down so much in the winter as people used to. So I kind of love being snowed in. That's when I really get cozy. I live by myself. My street doesn't get plowed. So when it snows, the rest of the world is usually out the next day, and it's usually 3 or 4 days for me because my road doesn't get plowed. And I don't shovel my driveway because why? It'll take me to the road that's not plowed. So that would be silly. So I actually feel very cozy and reflective and relaxed and creative during snowstorms when I'm snowed in. That's the time I get cozy.
I just have a couple more. I'm afraid to touch this now because you said the other day. To me, well, you're right. This last year has been bizarre. And one of the things that I was able to do with my additional cash from working in the election was to get a natural gas fireplace installed in my house. That's cozy. That's like capital C, cozy. I'm telling you, if you've got an opportunity, get a natural gas fireplace. You can turn it on and off, and it's a fire. But at the same time, my sister started deciding that we needed to go camping at New Harmony State Park a lot more. We hadn't gone at all since she moved here. And so then last fall, we had a chance to go a couple of times and had a fire, and that was cozy. It wasn't really cold, of course, because it was still kind of the fall and it wasn't cold. But we bundled up a little bit after dark and we had this fire. And for whatever reason, the fire to me is so cozy. It takes us back to our ancestors sitting around the fire. Which brings me to the second part of cozy for this particular year. My friend Cheryl was here a couple, maybe a month and a half ago now. And she and I have been talking on the phone for hours. It's like we never knew each other before, and yet we've known each other for 50 years. And suddenly I have just rediscovered the art of conversation on the phone. Like, remember how we used to when we were kids? And I've got this observation now where some of the things that we're missing as people in our society now is that conversation around the fire that we had to have with our sisters and our aunts and our extended family and our kids because we were trapped in a snowstorm, or we that's all we had was the fire in the corner helping us get through to the next day, and stories and talking to each other. So if anybody ever wants to call me, I don't know that I'll be home, but let's figure out a way to just chat for a few minutes about everything and nothing. It's been so rewarding, and I've tried to reach out to some people, and that's cozy to me. That's really cozy.
You can come up. One of the things that I did fail to mention that I know was in my notes was the warmth of it being a winter thing and fire going along with that, and that with cozy we get our winter and our fire, and I feel like it's in our DNA to feel safe, especially like the snowstorm situation. We can see what's going on outside and we know I'm not getting in that, but in here I'm safe and cozy. Come on, sorry. I remembered my notes. I had to get them out or I would beat myself up all week about it.
I just, with your story about your grandparents and great-grandparents and the type of heat they had in the house just really spoke to me. I'm one of 10 kids, the next to youngest. My oldest sister is 91. But, sorry. I don't have a lot of memories about when I was really young, but like the house that we lived in when I graduated high school, we moved there when I was in the middle of third grade. So I was pretty young. But the type of heat that we had was a wood stove in the living room and a coal oil stove in the kitchen. But at nighttime, those went down to pilot. And so all the doors were shut, so my sister and I shared a room, shared a bed, and we slept under probably 5 or 6 quilts that my mom made, and so there was no heat in there, just whatever heat had happened during the daytime, because at night when it was bedtime, that was it. It got turned down. But while he was talking and I was thinking about all of this, I thought of how my mom made it cozy for us, because she would get up super early and light the stoves, get them going again, get the house warm so that when we got up to get ready to go to school, there was heat. But I remember the first thing I did when I came out of my bedroom was stand, like if this was the stove, I was just like right here, and then my sister would get up, and so we were just kind of gathered around the heat source and, have time to get warmed up like that. But when I think about cozy and listening to Stephen talk, I thought about my mom and thought, when did she ever get to be cozy? I mean, hopefully she was cozy under the covers, but she didn't have any choice but to get up and make it cozy for us. So that brings about a whole new appreciation of the word cozy, thinking about my mother.
Anybody online with anything to share?
I don't see any. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our closing hymn today is going to be number 1021, Lean on Me.
times in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. So lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if you have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. So lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road, I'll share your load if you just call me. So lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need, come on, somebody to lean on. Just we all need somebody to lean on. So lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
All right. We will extinguish the chalice. Those words are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light. Our closing words today. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another, that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace. Lorland Bellamy. Thank you again for being here now, and I appreciate all of you participating in this today. Thank you. Have a good day.